recordings of those early of your early jam sessions, or the first tracks you were doing with that hardware, with all hardware?
I actually have, I'll play you the first track I ever did. It's going to sound like crap, but it's totally cool. So, my first track I ever did it was like hybrid, I'd say half drum machine, like R8, like half R8 and then half computer, actually. It was like my first 66 megahertz computer. And I remember my computer couldn't handle all the sequencing on its own, so I had to do the drum machine to do most of the sequencing and then some pieces in the computer. And it was funny because I was either going to buy an Atari 1040 ST computer to do my sequencing, or my friend's like, no, you should probably buy a PC because they're going to be a little bit faster than an Atari, because there was nothing to make music on at the time other than either going with Logic C Notator or Cubase. They called it Cubasis back in the day for Atari users. And I went with a PC computer and ran Cubase on that. And that was like the first program I ever used. And there was nothing out then. It was like Cubase, and I think SoundForge 1.0 was out. I mean, there were literally like 4 or 3 applications out at the time. And but it still wasn't there yet. You couldn't fully write a complete insane full track on it yet. But this is like an early example of that. Let's see, we'll go for...
what's this one called?
This is just I wrote first Cubase track, but it made it actually on my record. It was weird, on my first record I did with my label mates, friends, Schematic Records. But you'll hear this is lots of drum machine. So it sounds really dirty and really old, but you can hear, I'm going to scroll through, you can just kind of hear that. It's a lot of weird sounds, very rhythmic bass. Kind of scroll through. And I love this like robotic alien kind of theme, like you listen to it, it sounds like these machines welding, and like you can go to a factory and hear like this music being made by. I love the whole idea like that it wasn't really actually a human that was behind making the music. I love that it was like, oh, it's this artificial alien robot machine that's computing and making the beats and stuff. So my stuff had this robotic kind of, machine sound to it. But
did you similarly get excited about like movies that had those qualities? I mean,
oh,
like
totally.
Terminator and stuff like
that. Oh,
that.
absolutely. I mean, anything that had like killer sound design. I get a lot of like comments from people like that hear my music. It's like, oh, it sounds like Alien versus Predator. Are you gonna do? They always have that kind of take on the stuff. But as you can hear in that early track, it was was just using what I had to construct and experiment, and it had this really dirty, rustic kind of sound that I was really attracted to. And but at the same time, I was still learning things, and I always tell people that, I don't ever want to say that like I'm a master at anything, because I don't really consider myself to be. I just was a person that experimented with a lot of different things and just happened to get music released out. I'm always a student. For life, I'm always going to be constantly learning and be learning new things about music composition and studying new composers. And I'm just the same as I am today as I was when I was 18, getting all those records and finding about equipment. And it's just my quest just keeps growing. And I always tell people I'm like the permanent student, the music student for life. I'm always constantly studying and learning and trying to incorporate new things. So.